All right, so today we're going to talk about full moon and the demon of lust. Right, as we can see, today is the day of the new moon. The moon was full from last night, but because a new calendar date starts at dawn, so today is recognized or acknowledged as the day of the new moon. Right, so when you look at the elements and how they impact us as humans, right, because sensations in our bodies come from the elements. This is why this time minute you feel this way, that way, that way. It keeps changing, right? It comes from the elements. Now the fire represents the spiritual part of mankind, right? You have the earth, which is the physical part, the body, the organs. Air deals with the mental state, and water, the emotional state. And if you know the relationship with the moon and the water, right? So when the moon is full, the water is, is more, the tide is stronger. So it's the same way it operates in us. So if we pay attention to ourselves, we will realize that our at the full moon, the spirit of lust is stronger upon us if we are examining ourselves. For example, you'll see that some messages that you might have in your inbox that you skipped over during the days and the nights, at the full moon you start to go back and start to read those messages and reply to those messages, and probably you are doing it and don't even notice. Is the spirit of lust becomes stronger at that time, right? Now Asmodeus is the spirit that is ruling over this phase. It infiltrates our minds, and like I said, the water element is there, so guess what? It's going to feed upon the emotion. And while it's feeding upon the emotion, while the tide is rising in the emotion, guess what? It creates thoughts. It opens doorways for these spirits to infiltrate, and they come inside the soul through the mind as thoughts. So what you call thoughts in your world, we call spirits in our world, right? So spirits have to take on manifestation, just like in your world, thoughts take on behaviors. It's the same thing, we're just using different words, right? So what about the behaviors that come from these thoughts, or what about the attributes that come from these spirits? For example, I mentioned recently that adultery is a demon, right? It is a spirit that is set against marriages. For example, the man that says in his heart, you know it's dark, let me go out there, who's gonna see me? Okay, it's like his wife is gone, or the wife is not there, it's midnight, he can creep out in the night, nobody's seen him. That's really the spirit of the lust that is speaking in him, but he think it is his own thoughts. This is why when you look at the different attributes of that same spirit, it's there to do what? Deceive. Deception. You start to deceive your wife, you start to deceive the other woman that you're going on to. All these words that you're speaking, that you're really thinking that is your words, no, it's been influenced through the air, through the mind. That's what it is. It's not your words. All these adulterers, they speak the same thing. They're doing all the same types of deceptions. And another thing that comes from this is strife. This is why there's so much conflicts in relationship, not just normal things. Bitter. It's just conflicts. You two are not at peace in your relationships because there's a spirit there that is standing between you and your partner, you and your spouse. This is why sometimes you get dreams where it's like you and your spouse, they are very close in the dream, but between you guys there's a venomous beast there, or something, or like a scorpion, a serpent, a something venomous. It is showing you that there is a spirit, there is a force that is creating a distance. As close as you guys are, something is there creating a distance between you two. There's a distance in your relationship spiritually. So you are actually seeing something in the realms that your naked eyes cannot see. So all this war that's going on with you and your partner, you think is just natural? No. Somebody's portal has been opened, and it has been influenced by the ear, because this is what the creatures of the ear, this is what the fowls of the ear do. infiltrate the mind and it influences through the spirit. There's a constant war for power in the relationship. There's a power struggle in the relationship. Spirit of lust, this is what it does in the relationship. You buy a car, your wife has to buy a Jeep. You do this for your child, the wife has to do that. She does this, there's a competition going on that you guys don't even realize that you're competing against each other. So instead of building, you guys are doing things but separately rather than togetherness, and you don't realize that it's creating more distance in the relationship, right? The next thing is it provokes jealousy. It provokes jealousy in the relationship. And not only that, because this type of jealousy, because it's coming from a place of immorality or stuff like that, you'll find that, for example, a woman that has a husband and she's talking to another man outside there, you know what happens? That man outside can even take the life of her husband to say that, okay, then there's no more, there's nothing to stand between us. You can see me whenever now. When guess what? It was just that spirit that was influencing him. Know that your husband is, out of the picture. Guess what? There's nothing there left between both of you. He's just gonna have his obsession, and guess what? Because he has become the character of that spirit, right? That spirit can now depart from him, and the obsession remains. So no, you want to get away from that man, and you can't, because what is there is not natural anymore. It was never natural in the first place. It was just under an influence from the air that was infiltrating his emotions through the element of the water. The marine is not something to play with. There's a marine inside of us internally, and there's the marine externally. This is habitation of spirits. The water inside us is a habitation of creatures. You have good creatures and bad creatures, meaning creatures of dark and creatures of light. Man is the greatest habitation for spirits. This is just a small rundown on how these spirits work in us, because man is the greatest habitation. This is why we were the ones created to have dominions over the earth, not spirits. This is why spirits, they have to do what? Seduce or manipulate. And once they can manipulate our choices or decisions, that's how they gain dominion over us. Because the dominion of the earth itself does not belong to them. Earth belongs to us, and we are the ones to possess the spirit of wisdom. The spirit of wisdom is what rules the earth. This is why a lot of us cannot get out of situations, because some things we want to pray to deal with, when prayer was not the angel that is ruling over that situation. It's wisdom. Wisdom is the spirit or the power or the capability that governs the earth. So when it's time for you to apply wisdom, do not try to apply prayer. When it's time to apply the capabilities of understanding, do not try to apply prayer when you need understanding. So if you're not calling on the right creatures of light to conquer the creatures of darkness, you are always going to lose the battles. The spirits are capabilities that we possess as man. We have dominion. This is what a lot of people don't understand about God. God is not going to come down to do this and do that. No, the spirit is going to descend, and you are going to possess the capability. So it's like you're laying your hand on a person. Guess what? There's another hand that is there. There's another hand that is there also. So when you touch that person, the person can feel the power. Or when you speak to that person, or when you prophesy, the spirit of prophecy has to come upon you. So when you prophesy, you're speaking the word, but there's another tongue that is speaking with you, through you. You possess capabilities. Shalom.